and acting at Carnegie Mellon. And one of my acting students came to me after classes and said, "Hey, George Romero's making this film down so-and-so. I bet he would like to cast you in the film. Why don't you come to the set tonight and I'll introduce you." Well, I did not know who George Romero was. In fact, he wasn't George Romero at that point. You know, he had made the one movie, and it was a very small kind of culty thing. Not the kind of a movie that I would ever go see. But I thought, okay, fine, I'll go. I go down to the set. I meet George. He's just the most wonderful guy. And he says, you gotta be in this film. I want you to play this crazy cop. You know? Awesome. Or SWAT team, I guess it was, right? SWAT cop. So that's how I got in. It's a lark. It was all for fun. There was no money in it. It was exciting. We were all young and dumb and having a great time.
So how many days were you on set? How long were you a part of this?
I couldn't tell you that. I think I probably was something like 7 to 8 days, something like that. They were all nights, though. I think the entire film was shot at night. Yeah. I know when they were in the mall, they would shoot at night because all the stores had to be closed.
You weren't alive from the mall, though. You were gone by then.
Yeah, no, I had nothing to do with the mall.
That was on the roof downtown.
I had hurt a lot of people, and then they hurt me.
He deserved it.
Yeah.
Wow. How did you get involved in the film, and how did you meet George?
I was involved with the Pittsburgh Explorers Club. I was involved with the Pittsburgh Explorers Club, mountaineering and climbing club and all that. And they contacted the club and wanted to get some people without beards to play the SWAT cops in the movie. And we all went down to the Latent Image. We went up on the roof and filmed a whole bunch of scenes there. And also in Glen Hazel, in Hazelwood, there was an old Section 8 housing. They were getting ready to tear it down, so they did some stuff there. I did the rappel off the building.
Wow.
I did the rappel off the building there. And then we ran in and killed a bunch of zombies inside. I was down in the basement with Peter and Roger. And I was back upstairs, and they were filming the scene where John Rice was in the room and he shot himself in the head. Well, they had that room all lit and dressed to shoot, and somebody shut a big metal fire door. They couldn't get in the room.
Oh.
George is running around like, "Who shut the door?" You know?
Gosh.
And they couldn't get in. And I went up to George and I said, "What's the matter?" He said, "Oh, they locked us out of this room. We can't get in." I said, "Well, I'll get you in." He said, so I went up and rappelled off the roof again and come in the window. And I opened up the door. George is there, big smile on his face.
Wow.
I said, "Do you want a job?" So he put me on. I was an extra, a grip. I did lighting. I did some stunts and some effects here at the mall. I did all the ricochets and some of the squids. And I got to hang around with Don Barry and Gary Zeller in special effects, and got to ride my golf cart all around the mall. And
so I got to ask you, why no beards? What was the stipulation not to have a...
Cops don't have full beards usually. They didn't, you know.
So these were kind of like mountain guys with real beards.
Yeah, that's the mountain guys. Yeah, the mountain guys.
So was basically, were you given much of a script? Did you know much of what this movie was about?
George says, "Say Wooley's gone apeshit, man." And
awesome.
I did it. He said, "Say it again louder." And I did it again. Okay.
How many days were you involved in the shooting?
I worked here for 4 months at the mall. But as a actual SWAT cop, I'm in like the first, maybe we were there for 2 days or something. I worked in the mall here for 4 months, but as a SWAT cop, as talent, it was only like 2 days. Once in Homestead and once in downtown.
So a lot of time passed between when you guys filmed and when the movie came out. Did you kind of forget about the movie and then when it came out, or was it always in the back of your mind that I did a movie, I'm going to be in a movie?
Wasn't too long. After it was released, I got to go to the opening.
What was that like?
It was fun.
Oh,
You got to remember, this is all back in the late 70s. We're all pretty high.
I didn't go to the opening. I don't remember too much about that. I think honestly, I didn't think too much of it. I was busy trying to raise a family and make a living, you know. You make this movie, it's a kind of a lark. Oh, that was fun, and it goes right out of your mind. It wasn't until like 10 or 15 years later that you start to become aware of the fact that people talk about this movie. And that might have been the time that I actually saw it for the first time. Wow, man, how did that happen? You know, that's really kind of cool. So I had probably a very different reaction from most people.
Now, when you saw the movie for the first time, which was years later, was it at home on a video? Or
Yeah, I think it was on video, yeah.
Have you ever seen it in front of an audience and see how they react?
I did. And I was at the opening for the cast and crew.
No, I haven't. I was supposed to go to the showing last night, but after sitting and doing interviews and autographs all day long, I was just too tired. I went home and went to bed. Good on you.
I watched the first 10 minutes last night, saw my part, and then I left.
I understand though that seeing this picture on a big screen with an audience that knows the movie is probably one of the greatest things you could ever do. I had at least a half a dozen people tell me today about their experience last night watching the movie and how unbelievable it is, how wonderful. It just makes your spirit soar.
So I got to ask you, how many of these conventions have you done so far? I haven't interviewed you guys. I've been doing these a while. How many of these have you done?
This is my third.
Your third one, and
This is my second. I did one 25 years ago just to see what it was. And I thought, oh, that's pretty cool. But, you know, I mean, I'm not dying to go to the one next year. And then the folks here kept, you know, inviting us. And finally I convinced my wife, we should probably go. It's going to be the last one at the mall. Let's go see it. And it turned out to be well worth it. One of the greatest things I've ever done.
so the convention you went to 25 years ago, how is that different from the convention you see now?
Well, it was much smaller. There was no merchandise. It was in Cleveland. It wasn't anything like this. You know, it was just strictly autograph, and very small.
And the conventions you've done?
I just never got invited until they found out my girlfriend at the time was a zombie nun.
Really?
Yeah, she got kind of invited first, and they called me and asked me who she was, and I told her so she got invited.
Did you, now as far as you two...
She's here, by the way.
I know, so I got to ask you, did she get you into the film, or did you get her into the film?
Oh no, I definitely got her. I was reading through the script one day when we were downtown watching the dailies, and I said, oh, you need a zombie nun here. I said, I have an Irish Catholic little girlfriend. I said, oh, bring her out to the set. So we come out next night at the mall, and he took one look at her and said, oh yeah, put the habit on her, paint her face.
Do you guys, when you guys did the filming, is there any specific, since the mall probably isn't going to be here a lot longer, is there any specific part of the mall that just kind of says, I really like this part of the mall, this is where this scene was? Is there anything that kind of resonates with you?
I used to play hockey here as a kid, and seeing zombies walking on the ice is kind of strange.
So you stuck around for a lot of the production.
Oh, I was here 4 months the whole time we filmed at the mall.
What was the atmosphere like on the set? I mean, I mean, I know George films are kind of playful and everybody's very comfortable, but I mean, it is still work. And how do you think, you know, a director like him balances the work and the play in a film?
And we played a lot, but one of the interesting things that I had fun with was like early in the morning before we'd wrap, there'd be all these mall walkers come in and be walking around, and there'd still be people in zombie makeup and stuff.
Did you guys ever bring a camera with you to get any pictures while you were doing this?
I took some stills. I lost them years ago. I don't know where they are.
No, I never did.
I got a picture of Tasso all ripped open. You know.
So how often have you guys ever come back to the mall just to shop? Just you know, and just kind of look around?
Yesterday was the first time I was ever in the mall.
Wow.
Really?
Wow.
I'm from the South Hills. They're tearing down our mall out there. They tore that one down already.
Amazing.
So I got to ask, do you guys, this genre, the horror genre, is that something that you like or you just kind of fell into? I mean, 'cause now it's part of your life. Is there what kind of movies did you grow up with watching?
I like film in general.
What kind of movies did you like growing up though?
Action, war movies.
Any particular monster stuff? No?
All the monster stuff. I watch Wooley every Saturday night.
Oh, yeah.
So you probably grew up with Chili Billy then, and theater. So you probably grew up with Chiller Theater with Chili Billy then.
Oh,
too.
sure.
Did you ever get on that show? Being that you're part of this, you're kind of part of the whole group, aren't you? Did they ever ask you to come on that show, or was it kind of you're out of circulation then?
No, I used to watch him when he used to do the wrestling show. When he was the host of the wrestling.
So how long have you done? I gotta go back to the Explorers Club. How long were you part of that? And how long have you done that?
I was part of the Explorers Club for over 25 years. I got out of my film career. I got into flying hot air balloons.
Wow.
I flew hot air balloons for about 30 years, all over the U.S. and England and East Africa.
How did that career come about? I mean, that's a drastic jump.
A balloon landed in my backyard. I had too much money at the time and went out and bought one.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah. It's a sad story.
Amazing.
Have you done any other background film work since you already had expertise with working on a film crew? Have you done anything after that?
I took up an IMAX camera over in Africa in my basket.
Wow.
The basket was as big as this stage. And we put the IMAX camera in there to film a thing all about the Serengeti.
What year was that?
Late 90s.
Is that film available for anyone to see?
Yes, I think it was National Geo. They showed it at the IMAX theater in Pittsburgh.
Have you done other work for National Geographic or just that? Have you done any other film work for National Geographic?
I walked through in a Robert Mitchum movie in the prison down in Pittsburgh. Jan Michael Vincent and Robert Mitchum.
So as far as these conventions go, I mean, what makes you think people still gravitate towards these movies? I mean, it's like a zombie; it never dies. When you see fans come to your table, it's generations of fans. What do you think brings I mean, George didn't make this as a family film, but it is a film the whole family can watch.
I spent hours last night trying to answer that question for myself. And the only thing I could come up with was that when you see this movie, or when our friends saw this movie for the first time, some of the images made such a deep impression that the fans carried those images for weeks, days, months. Then they would talk to their friends, talk to other fans, and see the movie again, and everything becomes reinforced over and over, to the point where the fan is carrying around in his mind my image, your image, something I said, something you did, and it's replayed in his mind every once in a while. It's really kind of a beautiful thought. And then 20 years later, he comes to the convention, walks up to your table and sees you and goes, oh, I know that face, I know that move. You were so important because yada, yada, yada. It's absolutely magical and a miracle and a phenomenon. It's so hard to understand. We never took it seriously, and when you see people who do take it seriously, you then take it seriously. It's really quite beautiful, quite magical.
And your thoughts on generational?
I just have a thought that I'm glad you mellowed out after being such an ass as you were in the movie.
Yeah.
Was there much camaraderie with you guys on the set?
Not really.
You just
No.
kind of hanging out with me, and you weren't paid anything at all? I thought it was like $1 a day.
You have to understand that when you're on the set as a young actor, you're not really a professional. You probably haven't read the script. They just give you what they used to call sides, which are the lines that you speak and the cue lines in. So when you practice your lines, somebody says, then he says yada yada, and then you read your lines. And then the next cue is, then he says yada yada, and you read your lines. So you don't really know what the story is, what's going on. So this is a scary situation to be in because you have no rehearsal. You don't have time to kind of prepare it and make it good and think your way through it. And so what you do is to sit around the set and worry. What happens if I forget the lines?
Yeah.
What do I do? What if I stink? What if, you know? So there's no time for anything except worrying, fretting. You're scared stiff. They call you on the set, they make you up, they tell you kind of quickly, this is going to have a blah, 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 then he'll shoot you in the head and the squib will blow off. You go, okay, I think I can do that.
Were there many multiple takes, or was everything just kind of, that's good, let's rock, let's go?
Very few double takes.
I've forgotten that. I don't think he ever took the second shot.
Yeah.
It's all, that's part of the style, you know, it's go, 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 you're off the cuff. If something was a disaster, they would do it again. Like I had this scene where I kicked the door open of his apartment and shoot at a dummy, and the dummy's head is rigged with explosives, so that when I shoot the shotgun, the head has to go explode. So Savini had made the head, and he's got the trigger in his hand to blow it up. And it has to be perfectly coordinated. It has to sync up with the door opening, the gunshot, the flash, the barrel flash, and the exploding head. And if you don't get it right, you have to wait till the next day so he can build another head. So there's a little pressure there, you know.
George just used to shoot a whole lot of film and then take care of everything in editing. The one scene that I was in the building the housing plant, I jumped on one zombie's back that bit the girl on the neck. I was on his back till he threw me off. But then I was also at the bottom of the steps and I shot him. One I have a gas mask on, the other one I don't.
So being that you were involved in the film, did you get any sneak peeks at it before it got into the theater?
Not as an actor. I used to watch the dailies and stuff when I was on the crew. I got paid when I was on the crew. I didn't get paid when I was a SWAT cop.
So basically the dailies, now that was done on film, so it was being like, what, days and weeks later, you would actually
A couple
see
days, yeah.
So when you got to see the dailies, did they ask for any input, or you were just allowed to watch them?
They'd show them raw, and then, you know, George would be sitting in there editing and you got to see a little bit of stuff. What do you think of this? You know, and it's cool, you know.
So about how much time do you think you spent, you know, after the film, like watching the editing and before production? Just curious, because you seem to be along for the whole ride.
This was like just every couple of days I'd get down to Latent Image and see something, you know, or be down there for something else and watch the dailies while I'm there.
You guys have any questions? Come on up and ask. There's a microphone right there.
Come on, somebody.
There we go. Come on up. There's a mic right here.
Don't be like John Rice. He shot himself in the head.
Yeah.
I'll let him go first.
He was too much of a pussy even to show up for the thing here.
I think you knew you were going to give him grief. Right up here, right into the microphone. Thank you, sir.
Hello, gentlemen. My name is Adam. Uber George Romero fan. Uber Dawn of the Dead fan, especially. So it's so surreal seeing you two here. I apologize. I was a little bit late. I recognize you, sir. You're the SWAT leader, right, in the beginning project scene. And Wooley, correct?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Amazing. All right. I just have a couple of questions. How do you, I guess for both of you, but I guess in particular Wooley, when you watch Dawn of the Dead today, how does it make you feel watching your character, especially like in this heightened environment of political sensitivity? Like, does it make you cringe? For me, I look at the movie in its time, its place, its chaotic zombie context, so, you know, as all fans, we love it. But just curious, like, how do you reflect on your performance all these years later, the character, and how has it impacted you and, you know, just your life and your family? Pleasure. Thank you, gentlemen.
You were the one that was politically incorrect, so you can answer that.
How do people affect the rest of your life?
One thing you might be interested in is that the first, the second, the third time the actor sees himself in the film, all he can think about is, was I any good? I wish I hadn't done that. And so you're not really following the story, or you're critiquing your own performance. But sometime after that, you can relax enough to enjoy it and kind of take the emotional ride with it. I would have to say that for me personally, there's been no carryover from the film into my life, mainly because it was so small, I forgot about it for many years, you know. Now, watching it, it makes you think of a lot of things. It makes you think of things like, I'm not sure we could make this film today, you know, with the political correctness that we all are taught and live by. You can't say these things and do these things. So it makes you think about things like that. But other than that, there's no emotional carryover for me.
They got it better off than I do.
Next question. And nice and loud into the microphone.
First, I just want to say how amazing the opening of the movie is with
Nice and loud.
the newsroom scene and then right into the project scene. It's just amazing. One of the best openings in film, in my opinion. But was there anything about the filming that made you nervous before, like, the camera started rolling, like going into it? Anything that made you nervous, like stunts or anything?
Yeah, you're very nervous before the camera starts rolling because you're not sure you know what you're going to say, or you're afraid you won't say it correctly. You're really afraid that you'll cause them to shoot the scene over and over and over again. Then everybody else will hate you, you know, for delaying the thing so much. And you'll be embarrassed. You'll never be cast again. You'll be thrown out of the acting community. Your career is over. There's a lot of fear. There's a lot of fear on the part of the actor. Yeah.
Now, you said you got this role from a student who suggested this to you?
Yeah, Randy Kovitz, who was a part of the convention. Ask Randy. He brought me to George and said, I think this guy would be good in the film.
What were you teaching? You were teaching acting?
Yeah, I was the head of the directing program at Carnegie Mellon, and I also taught acting. So Randy, in fact, that fall of 1978, I think it was, Tom Savini was registered in my directing class. And he gave me a call and said, listen, I don't think I'm going to do that class. I think I'm going to do this movie. And so that, he was, did the makeup for Dawn of the Dead.
So, and was it more of a theater acting class you were teaching?
Strictly theater acting class, yeah.
Henceforth, all the nervousness, we got to get this right now, rather than if it was a film acting class, you just kind of prop your feet up a little bit and they'll fix it later.
I don't know, maybe.
You have a question right over here?
This has been like a really fun, like surprising panel to listen to. Like, I think your insights, both of you, from just the stories behind the making of the film, and like Jim in particular, how you were trying to think about why this movie means so much to people. I think you really like nailed it, because I think that's how I feel about it too. But kind of two questions. The first one's for both of you, and the other one's more specifically for you, Jim, where the first one was like this movie, the physicality behind it, and it just feels literally dangerous at times. Like, whoa, like did you ever feel like this is the job, I'm gonna do this is cool, or did you feel like this is maybe a little too dangerous? Did it feel normal? And then Jim, you're so different, like, from what I can tell from your character Wooley in the movie. You're very insightful, very thoughtful, basically the opposite of what I think of for Wooley.
Yeah.
When you do interact with fans of these things, do people just get confused because of how ingrained this character is in their head and they don't really know you? I mean, is there this big disconnect?
Okay, he basically says he kind of senses in real life, you're laid back, very insightful, the opposite of your character. When people come up and visit you at a table, are they kind of put off by how different you are than your character?
No, they're not put off. They just love the kind of raunchiness of the character, and they repeat the lines to me, lines that I've forgotten years ago, And actually, they asked me to write out the lines on the posters, What's interesting about those lines, or about I think the first part of this refers to the first part of your question, so I'm just going to try to answer that as I understand it. But let me interject that I wear hearing aids, and I'm on the plane yesterday coming into Pittsburgh, and I remember that I forgot my charger to charge my hearing aids. So the reason why I'm having kind of stumbling here is because I'm having difficulty, but you'll understand that. So the thing one of the things that's interesting about Wooley, the guy that I play, and it relates to all of us, is what happens in your mind when you see something horrific, extremely, mortally dangerous, out of this world that you can't explain. My explanation is, your mind starts racing, and you emotionally change gears, and you start to become somebody that you're not. You become a very frightened human being who will do anything to stay alive. So instead of behaving decently to these people in the apartment building, the seeing and the shooting and the extermination of the zombies has put you in the penthouse of insanity, and you're ready to shoot and kill anything, and so it just takes you away, It's a way of explaining this radical behavior.
Wow.
Yeah, but when I was dressed up running around like a SWAT cop, I didn't know the theme of the movie. I never saw them, the movie. As far as being scary, first of all, you don't have any bullets in your gun. There's no noises. That's all put in post-production. The loudest thing that I noticed when we were filming the movie was when we were running motorcycles through the ball here. That was loud that day, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow.
Any other questions? Come on up. And right into the mic.
Hi, I was just wondering if you have like a copy of the movie that you like frequently revisit. Like, do you have a copy of the movie that you frequently revisit and rewatch?
Do you guys have a copy of the movie, and sometimes do you watch it? Do you have a copy of the movie in your home, and do you watch it often? Show it to friends at parties.
Yeah, I have the deluxe edition, yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, no, I don't have a copy of the movie. I'd like to have one.
I know you can get one.
Yeah? Is it a comp?
I'm on it. So have you ever shown the movie to friends, like having a party and say, hey, check out this movie I was in? Most people would have, right? Like when you had your first copy of the film. And did you have like invite friends over to watch?
Oh yeah, I show it to everybody.
Awesome.
Oh, I gotta ask you real
People don't
quick.
believe me. I tell them I was in the movie. You're not in that movie. Yeah, here you watch.
So I gotta ask you, you mentioned the loudest thing was like the motorcycles. What exactly was your job? What did you have to do during the motorcycle scene?
I'm in the credits as a grip, but you know, like I said, I did all the squibs in the movie, not all the ricochets in the movie, some of the squibs, lighting. I hung around with the special effects guys. I helped setting up some stunts, and that was all my climbing gear. The Tasso swang out of the. That was all my rigging and my ropes and harnesses. I did anything George asked me to do. He liked me. He said, you know.
When you finished up the movie, did you go back to the Explorers Club and say, hey,
Oh yeah.
can't believe what I did?
I was the only one that went back to the Explorers Club and didn't work on the crew.
You should have told them they should have shaved.
George asked me one day, he said, I had a big Chevy van at the time. George says, hey, take the van, drive up top of that hill, and block off the road up there so that people can't come down to the mall. I said, okay. So I go up, park the van, and crosswise in the street. So the people they want to come down the hill to go to the mall here. And I said, no, you got to wait like 5 minutes here. Can't let you in, you know. There's people getting really upset. They can't get down the road. People are beeping their horns. One guy gets out of his car and comes over threatening me, you know. And all of a sudden you hear this noise, and behind me like 30 guys on motorcycles with machine guns and shotguns. They come up and turn around to go back down the hill for that one scene where they're coming down the hill. And this one guy that was coming up to my car, he just ran away and got in his car. It was really funny.
And one last question?
You need that.
You good? Right here, fire away. One last question.
Just thank you, gentlemen, again, especially with the small, soon to be coming down. It's a beautiful thing to have your testimony, how this movie impacted your lives and your experiences. I was just curious, and this is a great interest to me, but what has life been after Dead? Did you guys star in any more film roles, or did you have like a regular occupations that you continue with? And a second question, if I may ask, are you both now horror movie fans after Dawn, or not really?
Okay, the question was, have you done or had the bug to do any films after this? Do you have any aspirations to get back into film? And the second part was,
if you both are horror movie fans after.
If this movie made you horror movie fans, if watching the movie and being in a movie made you fans of horror movies. Yeah,
More of a fan, yeah.
Okay.
I did some movies after this. Actually, this was like the first movie of about, I don't know, 10 or 12 that I did. They were all fairly small parts, but
Night Rider.
Night Riders,
Oh, you were Night
which
Riders.
was George's next film. I role in that. Then I was in All the Right Moves with Tom Cruise.
Wow.
And Silver Bullet with Gary Busey.
Wow.
And a few other things like that. I actually, my full-time job was as a soap opera director. And as a soap opera director, I only had to work one day a week. and the other 6 days were mine. So I could go to auditions and take a little part in the film if they offered it to me, you know, which was 4 or 5 days of shooting. It'd be great. So that's what I did. I did a couple of films, but they were all kind of small little bits that would fit into my schedule.
What was the soap opera you were the director on?
I started out in Brooklyn on a show called Another World.
Wow.
And then from there I went out to Burbank and did Days of Our Lives for many years. And then I came back to New York and I was one of the directors on All My Children for many years. I also did a little bit of, I don't know, it's been a long time. Anyway, I finished up on Days of Our Lives in 2007, and that was my year of retirement.
I didn't know that, so I got to ask you, working on soap operas, that's very fast-paced, right? I mean, it's go, go, go. So you probably had a lot of pressure on that. How easy was that job for you to do? I mean, you did so many of it.
Yeah.
You just got into the rhythm of it. I mean,
well, I don't know how many pages are in the script of Dawn of the Dead. I'm sure it's at least 100, probably 110, something like that. That's about the typical length of a feature film. As a soap opera director, I would direct 100 pages every day. Every day. So that's why you only work one day a week, because it takes a long time to prepare the script. When you walk into the studio at 6 o'clock in the morning, you have to be totally buttoned up for everything in the show, every moment that you're going to shoot, and able to answer every question. So, yeah, there's pressure there.
well, I'd like to thank you guys for coming out and doing this. The SWAT team.